Okay. There we go. Word to all you would-be streamers out there, check your audio to make sure it's working, because I've been talking for the last however long the stream's been going. 11 minutes. And I just looked over to my audio capture and it wasn't doing anything. I forgot to restart the thing when I plugged in my microphone. So yeah, I've been rambling on for the past 10 minutes and nobody's heard me. It's alright, it wasn't important anyway, so whatever. Bashing on Train Sim World like normal, you know. Normal, what day is it? Wednesday night. Alright, relinquish this guy. Let's come up here. Switch first. Oh, duh. It would help if I get the engines off the hump. I don't need to start all you guys. So yeah, basically for the last 10 minutes, it's been just talking about the things that I wanted for V3 or V4, which coincidentally, I'll just mention it now. The thing that I wanted was I was pulling this DPU off of that train that I'm getting ready to run over the hump, and that train, like if I wanted to pull that DPU off, I can't get them moving. I can't even assign the AI to it because like right now if I go over here, they're grayed out. That's what I was saying. So, and then the rest of it was basically talking about Train Sim World 5 or Train Sim World 6 getting ready to come out. What is it, Friday? And the hot garbage that Train Sim World 1 was. Alright. So the plan for tonight is to... I'm actually going to roll the time back a little. I don't want to get too dark too early. Plan for tonight is to get these bowls filled up again. I actually think the one in Barstow is full. I need to clear up the tracks here in West Colton. I just deleted those trains that were... I need to redo all my inbound trains. The trains that I deleted, they're kind of duplicates. I don't need that because I'm sending trains to the same places, and I need to go back and redo it. Let's see here. Get this one up here, and then while that train is going over the hump, I will get these over to the power racks. And I said it in the video earlier, I run this yard as a Southern Pacific yard. These UP engines and the Kansas City ones, these are mostly coming off of the Yuma sub. I think I'm running Yuma as a Union Pacific yard, and Yermo is a Union Pacific yard. So Yuma is sort of a 50-50. Some of it's Southern Pacific, some of it's UP. Yermo is almost 100% Union Pacific. There's a couple of Southern Pacific units that come in through there. And basically everything that's going north, either to Portland or to Roseville, that's all SP. Should be all SP. There is an occasional Union Pacific one that comes down from there, but for the most part, the north end of the railroad is Southern Pacific. Alright, that guy's ready. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trains up here, and I've got these two over here can go first. So, what was this one? Okay, this was Roseville. This is going to have that. Alright. English. Oh, you hump. Alright, and get him going. And while he's doing that, we'll move these engines over to the fuel racks. Because I am getting a little short on power now. I've been sending trains out of here like non-stop, so... Alright. That. I need to do MU. Circuit breaker. It. And then breaks off. And I know I had this switch open. And where do I want to put these? The way that I'm kind of doing it is foreign power. I'm sorry. Foreign power goes over here. So these two tracks should be enough for it. That's why you've got the KCS engines and the UP, and then there's... I'm trying to keep them all segregated. So that way I don't have to dig them out. So... Let's see. Alright, don't get too carried away now. Alright. What train is this? This is Long Beach. This train is about ready to go. Got OG, EW, and Bell. This is another transfer. I gotta redo this because I'm getting a lot of trains that are going to Barstow. I think I've sent like 3 this week or something like that. And the way that I'm doing it is... So the trim units, which are right there. This used to be a spawn track. I've disabled it. So basically, I have them come up through these ladders here, and then they just take them. So the first pull usually fills up the latter half of the track. The second pull will usually fill up the other half, and then generally speaking, the trains end up being somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 feet long. Depending on where it's going, I usually kick them out after that. That usually keeps everything pretty moving along pretty well. So that's a Fort Worth train. I gotta keep referencing my sheet here. Where is OG going? Because I can't remember. OG goes to Las Vegas. I don't run this prototypically, so some of the stuff that I make isn't going to make sense for what the railroads actually do. It's just, this is how I run it. I've shown my sheet before as far as how I send trains out. Where are you at? There you are. Alright, so there's a Southern Pacific unit up front. Could be 2 of them. Nope, 1. So SPUP. Put them on this track, then I won't have to split them out, so I'll just go down this one. I think these here should be ready to go. I'm trying to keep these tracks clear. So I need to pull all these forward and clear out the shop. And then essentially what will happen is this is storage. They go out. This is also storage down here too. They go out this way. They come back over to the fuel pads, fuel them up, run them out here, and then the ready storage is down here. That's the plan as far as how to run these. As far as what's in Barstow to run, I honestly can't remember. I know that the departure yards are full, so there's gonna be a lot of switching tonight. I'm gonna try and get it all done before it gets dark in game. It's mostly putting power on. There's like, I think there's three or four pulls that need to be done, and then there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's 4 trains that are ready to go. Good enough. Something else that would be cool. So in some rail yards, I'll say it in a second. So in some rail yards, and this is something that would never be able to happen. Painted ties where the fouling points are. It's, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, they could never do that because they're using common textures. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could go in and simulate that by doing like, nope, not that one, this one. So if I really wanted to simulate it, I could go in here and say, let's see, fouling point's going to be somewhere like right here. Yeah, that's the fouling point for that track. Just one of those things. It's not that critical because the collision between car bodies is not something that's really currently simulated in the game. Hey Eugene, you doing fine? So we get this done. That train is ready to go over the hump. Once he's done doing that, I'm not going to sit here and watch him. We're going to go over to Barstow. Let's see. 2 tracks that are going to fill up are Yuma stuff and the Las Vegas stuff, which I don't think this one has. This is mostly and there's a few on here for Eugene. I think we can go to Barstow without having to worry about that. All right. And nothing coming in for us here, and nothing coming in here. Oh, thanks, Eugene. All right, to Barstow. I got over here. I got Mod bar, I need to get rid of this. I'll run it over. Because I love running auto Rex over the hump. It makes me giggle. Let's see. Galesburg. Lubbock. Amarillo. The Arcals. San Diego. Watson. So going to LA. Got Pasadena. I'm sorry, not Pasadena. Pasco. And then this would be Stockton. And this is Stockton and Arcal 1011. And this is going to Bakersfield. Okay, these are mostly locals. Alright. Let's send... Which track is that? That's full. That's Pasco. Problem is, I'm in a dilemma right now because I don't have any clear tracks. Yeah, I've got everything full. So I know that there's 2 trains here, I think, that are ready to go. This one's ready. I think this one is ready. I could probably put more on that one, but I don't think I have any more ready to go. I think I've got all the Modesto stuff gone. What was the other one? Pasco? This one. This is KCK. What did I tag this one for? I haven't tagged this one. This is all KCK, so one of the things I do is I will put on here just a note and I'll say this is going M bar KCK. And that's just so South Departure Yard is here. This can go either by way of Cajon or it can go out to Needles. This one's actually going to go out through Needles. So let's do the thing and figure up what I need power-wise. So let's see. This train is 3721. That's the wrong one. That train was heavier than that. Yeah, that sounds more like it. So this is 6,794, and I'm gonna have to consult the table because I can't remember that stuff off the top of my head. To answer your question, Solaris, I'll call you Saul. It's like Railroads Online in that you can send cars to industries and they'll load over time. You can set a sort of a... You can set how long you want it to take them to load. And then you can send them to... You can actually do captive service where it stays within your little world here, or you can send them off track, and then you've got trains that come in and go out. So like right now, the majority of these trains are coming in from off track. So like this guy right here, that's an inbound. This one's an inbound. This is actually a through. He's going all the way across. That LAC, he's going to go all the way through. That LAC to Willow Springs, he's going through. A lot of these are just through trains. So you can run it. Yeah, it's more like Railroader. That's the easy way to say it. Kind of, sort of, in a way. It's not all interchange. You've got through traffic too. There's a lot of through traffic in here. This yard is full because I have trains set up to deliver to Barstow. Same thing with West Colton. And then you can process them. I'm running trains through the hump right now, and I see a problem. Guys, I try not to close the game until all the cars have gone into the bowl tracks, and I don't see any more. So, back to what I was doing now. Alright, KCK, not that one. You. 6794, and I need to check my... Yeah, with MSTS mixed in. Kinda. This simulator actually goes way back to MSTS days. Like 2012, I think. This is like the third version of it. NSF is going... This is going to KCK. And I need 3.5 HPT. I hear Amtrak in real life, so... You're probably not going to be able to pick it up on the microphone, but Amtrak's coming through. Alright, so I needed 3.5. And I'm sitting at 6794. 94. And what did I say? I'm going to do 4,400. So it's 1.5. And 3.5 divided by 1.5 is 2.3. That ain't enough. Three units ain't enough. Alright, I'm gonna do this the easy way because I've had a long day and math is hard tonight, so we're gonna do it this way, and I'm gonna make the game work for me. So I want, it really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna throw 3 of these on here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, no. That's probably about right. 2.2800, and this is a 6,000. That's probably not too far off the mark. We're gonna go with 4. Let's see, what was the length on this? This is, yeah, it's only 4,800 feet long. It's an AI train. Let it eat. Alright. I need 3 of your finest units, por favor. You know, that's the fun part of being the yard master, or I guess in this case it would be the train master, is you can put not enough power on a train because once it's out of the yard, it ain't your problem. So auto can deal with them. So that one, and then not my beloved SP units. They can go. They have to take that other train back. I need. I guess you're gonna have to take it because you're facing the right way. I don't know how I ended up with. How did I end up with all these engines that are facing the wrong way, and then I ended up with 3 that are all facing in the same direction? That's just not right. Alright. Start you, and start you, and start you. And then do the MU, DCB, AB, DC, AF. Get set, disconnect, closed, released, and released, released. Railroader is going to be a really good game once they get the MOW stuff put into it. I mean, you look and see what modders have been able to do with it so far, and I think that opened up uh, Adam's eyes to what that game is actually capable of. I think that whole team is seeing the community doing stuff that they never even dreamed of doing, and just the stuff that Adam is trying to put into it on his own accord is really interesting to me. That's stuff that I was like, man, I never thought I would see that in an actual simulator. Like the MOW stuff is going to be kind of fascinating. Did you just really? This is what I get for using GEs. They load slower than molasses in the middle of winter. Now I have to wait till Christmas. Heck up. I swear this thing has been eating inputs like crazy. There. Go away. So I had talked about Century of Steam at one point, and I wasn't going to play it. And the reason why I wasn't going to play it was because of some of the drama that started on the Century of Steam side. And I'm not going to get into it because it's honestly not worth it. It's old news. It happened. Things have calmed down since then. Originally, I wasn't going to play it just because it was one of those things where it really, really ticked me off because it was uncalled for. I've talked to people since then. I think I've talked to Kerbo about it, and the Lazy Farmer, and I can't remember if Warren Van Ross and I had talked about it, but it was basically, it's more about the project than the personalities, because trust me, I've worked in the industry and I've met all the personalities, and people can just be stupid sometimes. Granted, that incident happened, there was drinking involved and whatnot. I've kind of looked past it, and I've been going back and keeping up with what they're doing in Century of Steam, and a lot of it is stuff that's, it's worth. I'll probably play it. That's the easiest way I can sum that up, is I'll end up playing it. I like what they're doing. The fact that they went to the trouble of simulating polling, which is something that's an archaic thing. I never had to do it in real life. I've talked to guys that have done it. I've talked to guys that have done it with cross ties. I mean, that was back in the day when it was, the railroads kind of turned a blind eye, and it was like, you do what you had to do. It was one of those things where, it was about running trains. It wasn't about, well, we got to make as much money, and oh, by the way, we got to do all these 10,000 safety regulations so that nobody gets hurt and nobody sues. So the fact that they're going through the trouble of doing all that, I'll support it. Yeah, if Railroader gets new maps, that's going to be really interesting. I think that maybe the most likely thing is that they'll extend the map. According to the math, this doesn't need a DPU. This one should be fine with 3 units. Because I've got the HPT rating at 3.5. I'm going to see what it is once I put these units on. And if it's below 3.5, I'll throw the SD70 on it. Or, hear me out, I'll be the evil guy, the evil train master, and just say, no, you take it as is. Get it out of my yard, and go. go live the railroad life, because that's about the way it would be. Oh, we've got a unit shortage. What about these engines over here? Oh, they're not. They're reserved, man. I can't use those engines, man. My God, have you seen the cost of fuel lately? Yeah, that's my impression of a train master. That my God, man, fuel is $5.70 a gallon. I think that's about right too. The last time that I remember having to order fuel, let's see, diet off-road diesel was like $5.75 a gallon the last time I had to order it. Yeah, 20 before 2000, you could just about get away with murder on the railroad. Now it's pretty much you got a CYA. It's anything you can do to, you gotta be safe. And hey, look, I don't want nobody to get hurt, but there is a point where you are too safe. And it's going to sound wrong saying it like that, but it's like you're safe to the point where you can't actually function. So you spend 90% of your shift doing the stuff to make your shift safe, and then you spend the last 10% actually doing the job, and then we're on the law, we can't do anything else. I don't want nobody to get hurt, but it's like, sometimes you gotta let common sense take over. But it, it's all changed now. It's a lot different. Corporations don't want to get sued, and it's the way it works. And they don't want anybody to get hurt, but man, some of the stuff they come up with. Like, I remember when Harrison took over CSX, they instituted the rule they weren't going to let anybody, you couldn't mount and dismount with a train moving. It used to be, there was never, as far as I remember from the guys that I knew that worked for them, there was never a rule for the speed. It was basically you had to use your own discretion. Well, somebody got hurt, I'm sure. They had to change the rule. They had to do something, either pressure from the Fed, pressure from the lawyers, whatever. They told them, well, you really need to start stopping the trains. Okay. So the whole point of mounting and dismounting while the train was moving was so you didn't have to stop and get it rolling again. Well, it didn't last long once they had all these trains that were having to stop, pick up the crew, and then get started again, and it's just time, and it compounds and compounds, and you got trains stacking up, and it didn't take them long before that rule got thrown out, and it's like, we can't do this. Yeah, bad orders too. I mean, I don't think people understand how complicated railroads are. They see a train and they're like, well, that's easy. You just get out there and run it. And it's like, man, if you only knew, if you knew like the inner workings, like this yard right here, it looks fairly simple, but I mean, some of the, I think now they don't do any on the East Coast for the most part. They don't do any of this anymore. It's all flat switching. To be fair, what Harrison was trying to do was logical. You block your cars, you don't have to do any switching, it saves time. They're built, you send them to a terminal and then you send them back out, and they can do their switching with them or whatever for the locals. But this mess here, I mean, doing a hump. I know that Spur did a video where he did the hump and then he did a re-hump, and it's like it's all time, it's cruise, it's not just, go out there and do A to B. It's, well, to do A to B, there's AA, AB, AC, AD, and then when I get done with that, then I have to do AB-1, AB-2, all these intertwined steps, and it's like that's where everybody gets lost. It's like it's I had that argument I don't know how many times where it was like, well, it's simple, you're only moving from here to there, and it's like, well, I've got 12 cars I got to move, and I got to find somewhere for those 12 cars to get that one car that you want out of the hole, and it's going to take me 4 hours to do it. And that's where, management would get upset. It's like, I can't help you. It's like I'm bound by what I have. Is that the right signal? Archer Yard inspection track. This one. No, that's not it. Inspection track. This one. This yard always confuses me. That's the one. That will make Auto happy. And this one. Okay. I know where I'm at now. I've told people before that have wanted to go work for class ones, and I've flat out told them, I'm like, man, be prepared to be laid off, and be prepared to be laid off a lot, because, like you said, when you're low on the totem pole, you don't have the seniority. You're the first one that gets the axe, and it's like, they may call you back, they may not call you back. You don't know. And when you're young, and especially if you've got a family, like if you got a wife and kids, man, you can't go without that income. And the railroad's saying, well, we might call you back in 6 months, it might be a year. A lot of people can't do it, and I don't really blame them. I never had to deal with it because I didn't work for a class one, but yeah. But I have tried to warn people. I'm like, it's a lot of money. They're gonna throw the numbers in your face. They're gonna be like, you're gonna make all this money. They're gonna give you the insurance benefits, the survivor benefits if something happens to you, the money that they'll give to your kids. They'll throw all the stuff in there to make it seem like it's the greatest thing in the world. Everybody should work for the railroad, and then when when the rubber hits the asphalt, they will cut your ass as quick as they hired you. Because at the end of the day, that's what their job is. They got to run railroads, and unfortunately, we live in a world where the railroads are run by investors and stockholders, and if the stockholders ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So everybody in management is trying to CYA to justify their job. I'm in the wrong yard, ain't I? That one needs to go that way. They're all trying to justify their jobs so that they don't get cut. I mean, I knew guys that were in management positions that had been with CSX for 25 years, and they got cut under Harrison. It was like 2,000 of them all gone, just like that. And those guys that had seniority. So it's like nobody's safe. But if you can hang on, if you can live long enough to retire, you will do well financially, at least. You'll probably have a lot more addictions than when you went in, but you'll retire with a lot of money. Alright, let's see. And I need to get that one so Auto won't get mad. You know, I honestly don't know what the devs are up to. They've teased a couple of things, but they've also teased a couple of things for the last 10 years. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they've said we're going to do that they just haven't done. I mean, yeah, I ain't complaining. I still like playing this, and it's somebody else was saying it, and I kind of feel the same way that you play this, and then you try and play something like Train Sim Classic, or you try and play, God forbid, TSW, and it's like you can't. It's like you get spoiled by this simulator. Like, for all the running that I've ever done with various tonnages over various grades, this simulator behaves like as close to being in the seat as you can get. So when I go from this to another game, it's like I get annoyed because I'm like, no, do the thing and do it the way you're supposed to do it. Don't do it this way. That's not how that works. It shouldn't do this. And then I get aggravated and I rage quit. It's like every time I play TSW, it's the same thing. It's like, why are the brakes not working? Why does the throttle feel like autopilot? Why is it doing this? That's weird. That shouldn't do this. Why can't I hear the horn? Why can't this? And then I get aggravated with it, and I turn it off, and I don't play it for 3 years. The mainly the stuff that Run 8 needs to be doing is like quality of life stuff. They've gotten better with the menus, because anybody that's played V1, anybody remembers playing V1, the menus were kind of bad. It took me a while to get used to this, because it used to be, so like right now I can hit F1 or whatever, and you had to hit the function keys to get your menus up. Now it's all up here, and it took me a long time to get used to this. But the one complaint that I have about this now is, like, when I'm trying to do recordings or whatnot, I wish that they would do something different where it doesn't automatically come down. You know, I wish there was something different that they could do with that. But in terms of content, obviously throw in there the NS-9s, because that's sort of the meme now. Has been the meme for years. Well, ever since they put the -9s into the game. As far as power-wise, I don't have a preference. The max would be nice to put in. I don't really know if U-boats would be prototypical for anything that's in game right now, but those would be interesting to see. We got the MP15s. I don't know if there'd be any advantage to putting MP12s in. I think that's more of an East Coast thing too. And then route-wise, if they could ever get SoCal and NorCal combined, that would be great. I don't know if they'll be able to get that figured out or not, but that and maybe a Midwest route. Kansas City, I think I looked at Kansas City, and that would be an interesting one. But again, I don't know if that's something that they're even looking at. Alright. Let's do the auto brake on this. Now I want to see what we have. We have 2 HPT. So, with 2 HPT, I must have done my math wrong. What is the tonnage on this train now? 6794. 4,400. 6794 divided by 4,400 is 1.5. Times 3. You give me 4.6. I'm doing my math wrong for some reason tonight, and I don't feel like correcting it, so I'm gonna trust what the game says. This has got 2. The 2 HPT. I want 3.5. We're gonna go 2 more on the bottom, and that should get me there. So, to answer the question from earlier, yes, that SD70 is going to go onto the bottom now. Even though, well, I won't say that because it's not true. They will run. I have seen an AI train stall, and it's an AI train that I built. They will stall, but they won't suffer from the normal defects. So like the stuff, dragging equipment and stuff like that, they won't get stopped for that. So that SD70 and this, is that a 44? Yeah. That 44, so this one and that one. There's the lead unit. SD70 sitting back there waiting, ready to go, and the 4400's like, yeah, let me think here. Okay, we're ready to go now. Oh, what? What? What did you do? Did I forget to close the angle cocks? That one's on me. That one's on me. You're supposed to know what I want, not... You know, you're supposed to help me out here, man. Alright. Get out of here before I change my mind and use another set. What's left over here? So I got all these engines here. The shed is full. I got engines over on the pad, and then I've got this whole line right here that's ready to go. So I've got a plethora, as El Guapo would say, of locomotives that are just itching to pull trains, and I don't have any trains that are ready to go. And I don't know if that train, I think that train finished. So I get these DPUs put on, then we'll go send the next train down the hump for West Colton. Nashville to Chattanooga would be interesting. I know Chattanooga has come up a couple times, and I want to say somebody with the team said that Chattanooga was probably going to be a lot more likely than Atlanta. Atlanta's just kind of a hot mess, and then the railroad's a hot mess on top of that. But it's like there's a lot going on in Atlanta. There's yards on top of yards on top of yards, and then you've got MARTA in there, and you've got the crossovers for CSX and MARTA and Norfolk Southern. It's like it's There's a lot down there, not to mention the scenery. It is a busy place. But yeah, Chattanooga would be interesting. I haven't been to Chattanooga in going on 6 years now. 2020. I was up there. I was actually in Chattanooga when we got shut down, working on the 4012 in Pennsylvania. And I have not been back to Chattanooga since. Yeah, let's not talk about Chicago. Somebody has mentioned Chicago in the past, and I was like, why would you, like, look at LA? And it's like LA times 10 is what Chicago would be like. There's like so many crossover and interchanges up there. It's like, oh my god. I don't even know how you would do the dispatcher screen for Chicago. Because there's like I mean, I don't think anybody has a monitor wide enough to do it, because I'm sure that they've got like 5 or 6 layouts that they have to look through at one time just to get a train through. There's parts of the A line that are roller coasters. That's one of the things about the Southeast, is there ain't a flat piece of land anywhere. It's up or down. NYC probably wouldn't be that bad. I don't think that NYC would be that bad. I mean, there's a lot there, but it's mostly, what is it? Most of the stuff in town is just passenger stuff now. I don't even think freight goes through there anymore. One that I thought would be interesting, and this is just from the little bit of time that I spent up in Kentucky, like if they did the rat hole, that would be interesting. They're not, well, I say they're not terribly far from it, but that, I've been up there. That was a busy line. I think it's just about like everything else. Norfolk Southern up that way, it's getting kind of dead. Okay. No air brake. Back up here. Who is the lead, and what we come up with? 3.3, close enough. I don't know why this does this either. So like right now, these units are in notch 1. And that's something that I've noticed happens whenever when you're putting consists together, like when you put DPUs on train, for whatever reason the other one's going to notch 1. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a coding thing, if it's intentional, or what. Alright. This is going to be M bar kick. And let me make sure those DPUs don't have tags. I don't want Auto to get confused, because Lord knows he will get confused. Alright, Auto, go to work. Get him out of my yard, please. Let's see. Let me make sure. I know I gotta fix this. Auto, these AI engineers are very particular about what track they go out on. So I'm going to stay until he's out of the yard. Because inevitably what will happen is I'll go to West Colton and I'll come back and he's sitting there at some random switch like, why you not throw it? And I'm like, you're lined out. Well, no, I want to go out this way. I don't care what you want to do, go out this way, because that's the way I got your line. And it's like, no, I have to go this way. I did that. It was a week or two ago. I had a train that I was going out, and it was literally lined up on these two tracks here. So you could go out on either one of these because they're both controlled by this signal. So you can go, or maybe it was this one. It was one of these tracks right in here. You can literally go out through any one of these tracks because, you know, signal right there, it controls all of them. And that train just sat there in front of that switch, and it was lined for them and everything, and it was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I had to sit here for like 10 minutes and say, okay, do you want to go this way? Well, no, I don't like that way. Well, what about this way? Have you considered this way? I've got this lovely track over here that you can go down. And it's like, no, 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 I want to go down here. And then he finally got out of the yard. The problem is I didn't write it down because now I can't remember which one it was. There is a certain way these trains want to go out. And it looks like this one is moving enough to where he is probably lined up. Not stopping, so I think he's happy. Put the tag off of this one. Ah, that's another thing that I wish they would change. I can't go in and modify these tags anymore, which I get why they're doing that, because you don't want to change the tag on a train and then auto reroute them somewhere else. It would like blow Auto's mind because Auto is, you know, Auto. I just wanted to pull that tag off that car. It doesn't make any difference. It's going to Kansas City. Let me make sure one more time that you are aligned to go out. You are not. You're gonna go out that track right there. Sorry. So that's him gone. So that's one down, and I've got this train right here. Is that the local? This is going to Modesto. I thought I had a train that was another train that had power on it. That I think is, yeah, that's going to Stockton. Pasco, Richmond, Fresno, Vancouver, Galesburg, Watson. This is going to Vol. I can't ever remember what Vol is. I don't think that's Vancouver. Alright, so the Fresno one is next, and it has got 41. 41 and 48. And I know this one's got to be 3.5. Yep, 3.5. In this game, no. No, if you want epic derailments, you have to play, what's the name of it? Derail Valley. Derail Valley is one of those games that lives up to its name. That's the game if you want explosions. If you want explosions, play Derail Valley. Alright. Got that. And I still have room, so we can get that one. Get that next train gone over the hump. Once we get the CP Heritage unit out of the way. Now this should be interesting. I wonder if this is a video of 611. No? What is this? That's almost painful to listen to. I don't know if you can hear that, and no, I'm not using an electronic device while I'm operating a train. I'm not going to say which railroad this is, but I'm hearing the naka 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 naka. That's a little excessive. Like, I don't know if you can pick that up on the mic or not. I'm not going to say what railroad it is, because I don't like calling out other railroads, but, and that may not be what he sent me the video for. That's a wow there. I ain't gonna throw mud on somebody else's boots. I don't do that shit. I have not launched a piece of equipment across the map in Railroader, or on Railroads Online. I take that back. I have done that in Railroads Online, but I think that was more of a physics bug than anything else. It wasn't really intentional. Yeah, if you're saying hammer time to the video, yeah, hammer time. But I ain't even going down that road. I haven't touched the steam locomotive in, it's been 3 years now. I take it, I've touched one. I have not. I haven't like been involved in operations of one in about 3 years. So ain't. There's enough. There's enough bad. There's enough egos and know-it-alls in the world of steam locomotives to fill the Atlantic Ocean 3 times over, and I ain't gonna wade into that one at all. I'd mentioned this on the enhancement Discord, because if you don't know by now, you're living under a rock. The J has been running. You know, have you heard the J is running? Oh my God, the J is running. The J is running. The J is running. Queen of Steam is back. Oh my God, stop traffic. Call the president. The J is running. It didn't even have to do with the J, but it's like everybody is like, you know, the foam level 7 is in full effect because the J is running, and then the 4014 running, and then it was like, oh my God, we have to shut. It's a national holiday. Well, they put the smoke deflectors, smoke lifters, elephant ears, you call it whatever you want to, ugly as sin, my opinion. They put them on 4014. I can't remember why Ed said the reason. I think it was just because they're doing passenger trains with it. And it's like, when you do something like that, all the experts come out. Well, they're having to do it this way because of such and such, and it's this way, and it's like the 3985 had it because it was an oil burner, and so did the 844. The 844 was an oil burner. That's why they had to have it, because there wasn't sufficient draft to lift up the smoke, and they had to do it like this. And it's like, no. Like all the oil burners had to have the smoke deflectors, and it's like, pull up a picture of 3985. It didn't get them until it started pulling the Greyhound unit. That's when they put them on there. The 844, I don't know if it had it its whole life or not, but certainly when it was in passenger service, it got it. It does help the smoke go up. The UP put those on passenger engines and it was to keep the smoke from laying back on the passenger cars. And this would have gone back to the days before the cars had air conditioning, and even now when they have air conditioning on them. So you've got these louvers up in the top of the roofs of the cars that could pull air in. So if you've got a steam locomotive, oil or smoke or coal doesn't really make any difference, and you're drifting down a hill and the smoke is laying down on top of the cars, guess where the smoke's going? It's going into the passenger compartments. And people don't tend to like that when smoke goes into their compartment when they paid all this money to ride a train. So yeah, that's the purpose behind them. When the engine's not really drafting hard and it's not producing enough lift, the smoke lifters or the smoke deflectors, whatever you want to call them, they create this effect where they push the smoke up and help get it over top of the cars. It has nothing to do with oil burners, has nothing to do with coal burners. That's what it's there for. That's why the freight engines didn't have them. And if you look at the 3985 pictures, like it getting elephant ears on it's a very recent thing. But I heard on the internet that they had to put those things on oil burners because the smoke laid down, and all the oil burners had to get it. I should stop. I should really stop. I will get myself in trouble, and I'm not here to get myself in trouble. I'm gonna make somebody mad. Internet warriors are like, they're the funnest thing when it comes to steam locomotives, because it's like, I read in a book somewhere. I'm sure you did, buddy. I am sure you did. Well, I worked on that engine, as a matter of fact. Oh, you worked on it? Yes, I happen to have worked on that engine. Well, I was told, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you were told. All right, I got you, buddy. You know, I've had those conversations before. What is CSX doing out here? Which train was that on? I think that is one of my Run 8 Western skins. There, that's good. He's hiding. Which train is this? EW. Where was EW? I want to say that that's Ewing, Texas, but I'm not that confident in it. And I think that was the reason why I got it. Is that an actual CSX unit, or is that? No, these are Run 8 Western reskins. So you see the Run 8W or the Run W. These are, I can't remember who did these, but they're reskins for I think these are the Dash 9s. I think that's right. Why did I do that? Let me see if I can spawn them in here. Somebody had done a couple of different Run 8 skins, so that way you don't have to live with them. Let me see here. We got that one, and then it's not all of them. I think that one is the same. That one might be different. That one. I think the tunnel motor is the same, but I'm not sure. Run 8. I know this one's different. No, this is the same, but it's a different. It's an updated skin. That one and that one. I think that's it. Yeah. Got an empty track, don't I? So these are all my Run 8 skins that I've had added. So you've got the war bonnet up here. I think this is the only true war bonnet I have. The other ones are the BNSF patch ones. CSX, and you got the Seaboard. Rail link. Yeah, these two were the same. I'm pretty sure this one's unchanged. That's just an updated skin that's a little bit nicer. This is one of the UP ones that I had, and then the CP one. That's, to answer your question, that's why CSX is out here, because I change them from time to time. Sometimes it's a CSX unit, sometimes it's something else. It just depends on what I'm feeling like. Okay. I think I can let this go while run back to Barstow. When I was doing the southeast stuff, because I was working on a save for the southeast, but then I think I started getting so much of a headache from trying to deal with CSX's numbering system that I gave up on it. But I put that Seaboard unit in there because that's what I was using. I think that's an SD45, if I'm not mistaken. I was using that Seaboard unit in my save there, so that's why I put it in there. Now, in keeping with my previous tradition, I had been trying to figure out what I wanted to call these units, because normally my pullback units get names. When it's been 2, it's usually been Jake and Elwood, or it's been Hans and Franz, or it's been, you know, Ben and Jerry or whatever. And I was trying to think, I was like, I got 4 of them on this one, what I want to call them. And today, they're going to get their names. So this is going to be Groucho. Well, let's do it in all caps. They get to be the Marx Brothers. Brakes on, brake off, off. Alright, what track needs to be pulled? I got these. Got Bell, and then I got, what else? I got Pasco. Don't have a Pasco over here. Watson. Worth, Fall. I do not have a Pasco. Ah, yeah, I do. Right here. Alright, Pasco it is. Which track is that? Is straight ahead. Let's see, I need to line him out. Yeah, I keep a mix of power in the yards. I know on my spreadsheet where they go, and I remember how I did up most of the trains, so I kind of know which units are going where. Like those KCS units and the UP units out in West Colton, the majority of those are going to go out Yuma. Matter of fact, the next trains that go out on the Yuma sub are going to get them. And then the ones here, you notice that most of my, pretty much 90% of the power that I've got here is BNSF, because the majority of the trains that come in, there's a transfer job that works between Barstow and West Colton, and typically it has enough weight on it where I have DPUs, so usually the eastbound has got the SP units, the westbound will have the BNSF units. The unfortunate thing is that I have to tag it differently both times. So in order for it to go to the BNSF yard, I have to tag it as a BNSF train. So I've got to tag it as, where am I going? I've got to tag it WCL BAR so that Auto will route it into Barstow. And then whenever I send it to West Colton, actually I can still use the BNSF one because Auto will recognize BNSF. I can go in and change it, but I have to change it for a couple of different things, because if I don't change the ones that have to go up Palmdale, Auto will send, if it's a UP symbol, it'll send it up Palmdale. That is, and I can't remember which one this is. And of course it's not where it can. Got a -9 on the head of it. I can hear it from here. What is that? LBE LPC. I've got a sound pack that makes my -9s loud and abrasive, because that's pretty much what they are. They're loud and abrasive. Forgot the most important. Nope, that's right. I was thinking it was this one right here, but it's not. It's this one. So, Pasco, Washington will be the next train that goes out. I wish I had some more skins for these BNSF units. I think this one is actually, it's a BNN scheme, but it's actually a lesser one. Here we go. I have very seriously thought about getting a sim hogger, and I've had to talk myself out of it, because I'm like, you know, as soon as you get one, you're not going to play for 3 years. But I don't know. I've gotten so used to using the keyboard, I can just about do it faster on the keyboard than I can on the control stand. In the game, no. They have some pretty decent coding for these that they'll actually stop. Now, when I was in Cumberland, have I seen the aftermath of a yardlet pretty much destroying about 70% of the bowl tracks? Yes. Yes, I have. I think the result was they ran a train over the hump. They weren't humping the train, they were just running it over the hump, and it got away from them. and it tore. I mean, I used to have pictures of it, and I don't know what happened to them. Of course, it had been snowing, so the rail probably had ice on top of it, but he lost control of it, and man, it wiped out that yard. Yeah, the Simhogger control stand, it's the way he's got it laid out, it's literally about the size of a control stand, and I've got enough room here beside me to put it there, but it's one of those things is like when I'm not using it, it's still there. You know, it becomes another place to set stuff. You can always count on a yardlet to basically lock down the railroad for a couple days. I mean, that seems to be the way it goes. I know it happened a couple times in Atlanta. I mean, they will always, they'll be either sleep deprived or something else, and they will just wipe out a yard. A friend of mine told me, I can't remember what yard he was working at. They had a Y that they were working on, and one of the legs of the Y was out of service. And somehow, this kid was able to throw the switch for that leg of the Y. And there are these trees and everything that are in between this Y. It was a fairly big Y. And he somehow or another he got like half the train to go down this leg of the Y. And I don't remember how. It's been a long time since he told me this story. But basically, the long story short is the train split, and because he didn't have air on it, it didn't go into emergency. So he's pulling and pulling and pulling, and you know, when you're on the other end of a train and you're not looking back, and it's like, hey, this train's getting heavier. I need to notch up some more. And notching up more and notch up more. And I think he was in notch 8 by the time it was all said and done. And he's pulling this train through the Y, and part of it's going one way and the other part of it's going the other way. It's ripping the track up as it's going. The trees that are in the middle of the Y, it's taking all them out. He almost gets to the other end. I mean, he has ripped up all the track behind him. And I think he said, the guy said, once the kid figured out what had actually happened, he took the remote, and of course it was a remote operator because it always is. He took the remote, set it down, got in his car and left, and he never came back. I don't know what the circumstances were for it. It was something stupid. It was like he should have known not to do it. It was like it was very conspicuous. It's like, do not use this switch. Or he may have picked the switch. I can't remember exactly what the circumstances were behind it. I just know that half the train ended up going down one leg of the Y. And it tore up everything. Yeah, the RCO is actually the one that tore up the yard in Cumberland. And I really wish that I still had the pictures of it, because it was one of those, like, man, if you're going to screw up, like, that's how you screw up. It's like, that's the one where you frame that picture, you put it up on the wall and say, if you're going to screw up, it better be this epic, because we got to have stories to pass down to the younglings that come on. Alright, where's my train? Where is my train? Is it up here? Where are you? Pasco, 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 where? Right here. With the portable derails. so I gotta go up one more. One more set of switches. No, I haven't heard of that one, I don't think. If you work around the railroad long enough, you are gonna, and I'm not saying this necessarily to be funny, but it's like you're gonna hear the stories about the dumbest stuff that happens in hindsight, and you're like, well, any idiot would know, and then it happens to you, and it's like you get in the rhythm of doing something, and it's almost complacency. It's like you've done it 100 times this way, and it's always gone this way, and it's the one time that you either don't look or something changed and you didn't notice it or whatever. That's like, it's always that, and every time it screws up, it's epic. Like, it completely shuts everything down. It happens like that every time. You know what they say about hindsight? It's always 2020. It's like, well, I'd have done it differently. It's like, no, you wouldn't have. We would have done it the same way. It would have happened. It's like, it's over. It's done with. It happened. Move on to the next thing. How big of a fireball did that one cause? What track am I going down? Third one here. Yep. Okay. So the third one. This guy. Third track down. Okay, let's try the fourth track down then, because I can't count. That's the one. That's the one I meant. Auto, well, I can't blame Auto for that one because I threw it. The game is supposed to know what I wanted to do. John, if you're listening, make that happen. V4, the game needs to know what I want. I shouldn't have to sit here and dig through switches. The worst one that happened near where I live is, I want to say it was CSX. They had I don't know if it was a chlorine train or it just happened to be a couple cars of chlorine gas. And it happened up near Cary, which is outside of Raleigh. And they had a derailment, and I can't remember if one or all the tanks got punctured. Luckily, it was in a non-residential area, so there weren't any fatalities. But I had a friend that lived up in Cary, and he said he got up that morning. He was going to like hockey practice or something like that, and he's like, he got up, and he's like, his eyes were all watery, and his throat was real scratchy, and he's like, what the hell is going on? Then they found out about the derailment. That one could have been really bad. Chlorine gas is no joke. There's like videos of they're loading what do they call them? They're not caskets, it's something else, but they're the containers of chlorine gas. They're in this frame with like a tank in the middle of them. They're loading them, and a strap breaks, and the tank comes down. It slams down on top of the dock, and then all you see is this green gas just spread out. And it's you're running as fast as you can go. You can literally see the coveralls that the guys are wearing. They're a darker color. You can literally see them bleaching as they're running away. And it's like you run as fast as you can to get away from it, because once you get engulfed by it, it's like you got seconds, man. It's going to take all the oxygen out of your lungs. Yeah, LPG. Well, I'm sorry, not LPG, but yeah, LPG. LPG, chlorine gas, ammonia is another bad one. If it's hydrous ammonia, it's not as bad as uh, what do they call it? The gas version of it. It has a specific name and it's escaping me. I'm trying to think what's another bad one. Sulfur's not really all that terrible. It smells like crap, but it's not that terrible. I'm trying to think if there's another one that gets transported by rail that's nasty. Obviously sulfuric acid and stuff like that, but you really gotta get it on you in order for it to really hurt you. That stuff that was in that stuff that derailed in East Palestine, that was some pretty nasty stuff too. I can't remember the compound. It's something that it's in like PVC making or something like that. Let's see. I think I got enough room up there. It's gonna be tight. Yeah, I've had people ask me because of the job I'm at now. I had not long started with them when the East Palestine thing happened, and it happens in with like the news cycles. So something big happens like the East Palestine derailment, and once that happens, it's like train derailments are like the buzz thing. It's like now the news media is paying attention to every single derailment that happens everywhere, anywhere close by. It's like they're feeding off of that news. And I remember some of the guys that I worked with were like, they're like, man, all these trains are derailing. And I'm like, I'm like, no, this isn't new. This isn't new. This is old news. It happens. Derailments like this happen all the time. They're just never major. The amount of derailments really hasn't gone up. It's just you're hearing more about it because the news is they're feeding off of that cycle. It's like plane crashes. You had that big 787 that went down in India. It was an Air India flight, but you had that one that went down. They had the near collisions up near DC, which I don't think people understand. That's really busy airspace. But once that got into the news, it was like now they're really watching all the stuff that's happening with airliners, and it's like that stuff's kind of commonplace. Is it a worrying thing? It's not necessarily. I mean, it's just like driving on the road. Stuff happens. People are humans. Sometimes the computer fails. Sometimes it's operator error. Sometimes it actually is a computer system thing. It's commonplace. Is it deadly? No. It just you get caught up in this cycle where there is an accident, where there's fatalities, and now all of a sudden every single one of them after that keeps on getting reported, and people are like, oh my god, when did this happen? Why are all these things happening? It's like, well, they've been happening. It's just nobody really paid attention to them because we didn't have a major catastrophe. But that was the thing around work, because I remember it was like, man, it was like every other derailment was getting reported, and they're like, man, are there really that many derailments now? And it's like, when I was working with the railroad, it was like, if you went a day without hearing a derailment within 20 miles of where we were, that was a good day. Yeah, my name for center beams is portable derails. Because even in this game, they wreak havoc. The bridge that was in Harper's Ferry that straight lined, that was all center beams. There were three of them right there in a row, and I think that track had finally just had enough, and it tore out that bridge, if I remember right. That bridge had been there since like 1840s maybe. That bridge was there during the Civil War. I do know that. That very specific bridge was there during the Civil War, and it had been there for at least 10 years prior to that. Okay. That train is built. I think West Colton is done. Nope. Still making racket. Man, if Railroader ever, I mean, if Run 8 ever got something like what Railroader has, the automatic engineer, this game would be something else. But I think the logic would just bog down the CPU so much that this thing would run like it was on a potato. Oh, did the center beams derail up on Horseshoe Curve? I bet that made some rail fans' day. I'm one of those people in the category of Horseshoe Curve is not all that great. And it's nothing against the curve, it's just like, I mean, I could show you the grades that we ran over, and they're about the same. So the hump end of West Colton is probably one of the more dangerous ones in the industry. If you listen to Spur talk about it, because he kept up with it more than I ever did. Runaways on that end, because it's a steep, the receiving yard is steep going back down towards the hump. Apparently they've had a lot of runaways down there. This whole area, if you ever read about the Cajon derailments, I mean, it's a wonder more people haven't died working on this whole section of railroad. 'Cause it's pretty rough down here. You know, people want to talk about Saluda, which Saluda had its problems. But I'm trying to remember. I mean, they had a lot of safeguards for a train that ran away. Like, if you know the highway system in the U.S., if you're up in mountainous areas, we have runaway ramps. Those runaway ramps were inspired by the ones that they had on Saluda. They had a timer circuit and speed sensors, and it was basically, I can't remember what speed it was. It was like 20 mile an hour or something like that. If through these time circuits, if a train went through them too fast, it would automatically throw the switch for the turnout for the runaway. Yeah, center beams are no fun. Most of the derailments that I've seen pictures of, it's funny because I always look for the center beam, and it's like there's usually one. It's either involved or it's like right there near it, and I'm like, see that guy? That's the one. what do I want to do? I got 2 more that need to be pulled. San Diego and Bellevue. Bellevue is gonna go. Where have I been sending Bellevue? That gets sent by way of Albuquerque. ABQ, and I don't think I have anything going that way. So I think the first thing to do is to stop this guy. And need to check and see what's coming in. I don't know if I have anything coming in or not. Just the one we just sent out. What are you? And these are outbounds. Willow Springs, LPK. Alright, I will hopefully be doing some more live streams this weekend. Well, I've got some time, so I'll see if you're around. That's not coming in, that's not coming in. I'm actually surprised I don't have any Barstow trains coming in. And the more surprising thing is that that Auto has not completely log jammed my railroad yet. Because I had to spend, there's one right there. I had to spend 3 hours. What was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago? I had to spend 3 hours going through this mess. And it was up here. It was in, he's done it again. Alright. This was the same thing that happened last time. I've got cars that are coming in here. I actually need to delete this train. I have to keep a closer eye on Kawa. But it was almost the exact same setup as last time. I had trains on all this. I had trains on all this, all that, and I had to spend 3 hours basically undoing all this. I've got a couple of West Colton trains coming in. So what have we got up here? These should all be Southern Pacifics. So this is my West Colton. That's another West Colton. I don't know why it has the X on there. And we got another auto rack back yonder. No, that's not an auto rack. I'm blind. That's a pig train. He's going to LA. And looks like a stack train. That looks like auto racks. Yeah. Never ends. Another one for LA. This one, I'll delete that one. That's a duplicate of the train in front of it. I think this one might be a duplicate of the train in front of it. That's at Long Beach. What was this one? Nope. Alright. I'll let you live for today. Long Beach. Heritage unit. LA. I'll allow it. Oh my god. Auto every time. Alright, that's a duplicate. You go away. IR. another duplicate. You're a duplicate as well, so I'm not going to let you go. Let me guess. Let me guess. You're a duplicate. I'm going to let you go because you're going out. And that's it. So not horrible. I will be glad whenever they get the whole Koval to Seiko. I'm assuming that's going to be the next thing. That will make things a little bit easier, so that way if I want to run a train from, like if I wanted to go from Sparks all the way down to LA, I would have to save that train twice. So I'd have to save it once leaving the Roseville map, then I'd have to save it again up here at Goebel, and then I'd have to spawn it back. I'd have to spawn it in on the Fresno map, then I'd have to save it and spawn it in on the Seiko at Seiko, and then I'd have to run it off the map. So that would be nice. Is there nothing on the BNSF side? That's an absolute miracle. Because usually when this crossing gets bound up, they get stacked up down through here in bowls. So that's an absolute miracle that didn't happen. But this is also why I have to go in here periodically to make sure the auto hasn't absolutely just given up and gone to lunch or something like that. Alright, hobby looks good. The other place is on Sandburn, because it usually gets pretty busy. And I bet this one... I think I've got clear tracks up here, so... Now, how long is Amtrak? Okay, he's got green. Alright, I'm not worried about him. I've seen it before where Amtrak has just sat there and it's like, I don't know what to do. As long as I don't have a train that's coming in here to Hobart, then this will be fine. Because what will happen is I'll get inbound intermodals. They'll get in here, the track will be full, and they just sit there. I have the same problem down in Baldwin. Is it Baldwin? It's the same problem in the southeast. They go into the intermodal yard. There's another train sitting there. I don't know that it's sitting there. It log jams the entire railroad, and then I'm wondering, like, where are all my trains? And I look on the dispatch screen and it's like, oh, there they are. So that should free up everything. I don't think shouldn't be anywhere else that is going to bottleneck. And West Colton's got plenty of tracks, even though there's nothing coming in here. Go to Barstow. We'll get this. What are you? What are you? I saw it earlier and I can't remember. Alright, you're Willow Springs. You're going straight out. Alright, so I got this Pasco train here, which is going out. And that needs to have 3.5. It is 43, so I'm gonna say that's 1. I don't know why that happened. Actually, I do know why that happened. I bet they've bled off air. Yeah, it bled off enough air that it went into emergency. All right. So 4370. That's going to need 5348. I think this one's going to need 4. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. No, it's going to need 5. That's just off the top of my head. I'm not going to do the math on it, but I'm pretty sure that's going to need 5. So that needs 5. That's a northbound train. So this guy is going to be our pass. So this will be M. Oops, I had caps lock on. M bar pass. Okay, and I'll just do 3x2 for this one. And yes, I'm going to put a locomotive up against the center beam, because I'm not running it. What do we got? Have I got one facing the right way? Gonna have to have a word with somebody. So, this is something that's weird too about trains that get brought up, because these are actually supply trains, and the way that the AI is handling them. So you look at how these things are oriented, the way that they're reversed, it's like it's got so many of them that are facing the same direction. So like I got 3 units here that are all facing the same direction and none of them are reversed. I get the same thing right here. There's 3 of them that are facing the same direction. Now chances are, let's see. Well, there's one right there, but chances are these all came in on the same train, but it's annoying. Because now I gotta find one that's facing the right way. And yes, I'm complaining, but let's see. What do I want to put on this one? I put a 70 on the other one. No, I put a -9 on the other one. That's right. Let's make... What have I got? That's a -9. No, that's a 44. This is a 9. Isn't this a 9? I think it's a 9. I'm not sure. That's a 9. That's a 44. A 44, 9, 2 9s. That's another 44. Yeah. Yeah, 44s. This is mostly -9. I think that I did halfway make this a -9 line. Alright, so what did I say? 3x2? So these 2, this one, and these 2. So I'm gonna lead. Well, I gotta pull this one out first. Alright, you. You get to be the hero today. Yeah, I don't normally do streams because I don't typically have the time. Tonight's a special occasion because I'm actually off work for one, and I'm actually off until like at least Tuesday of next week, so I'll have some more time to do it. And I did a video today too, and I got to thinking about it. I was like, well, I'll do a stream tonight, because why not? Because I knew I had a lot of stuff that I wanted to do in game just to get it done. And because for whatever reason some people like to see me do this stuff. I don't know why. Alright. What is this? What train is that? Okay, North Platte. Where was I? There I am. Alright. Taking these two. No. I said 3x2. I only need one. Ah, I knew it! I knew it! I knew it as soon as I hit it, it was going to be too soon. And it had to be a GE. Alright, you can start up now. And if the audio is too loud, it's too loud on purpose, because I can't tell you the number of times that I've either watched the video where somebody has had the audio too low, or you know, whatever, or they're doing a live stream and they have the audio so low that you can't hear it. At least this way, because I know my voice will carry over this because of how I've got it set up, so you can at least turn it down and still hear the audio in the game. Oh, now you want to go, huh? Now I gotta remember what track that was. I think it's that. This one's going... Yeah, it's this one. So... Fourth track down. 4. Crossover, crossover. Crossover. Got a crew change going on. Might actually get this done before it gets dark. Because I want to get this train out, and then I want to do... I got 2 more bowl tracks to pull. Yeah, I want to get those 2 bowl tracks pulled, and then that will be everything tonight. West Colton's pretty much under control. If I can get Barstow situated tonight, then I'll be happy, because this is one of the rare times where I don't have trains coming in for Barstow. I think there's like 1 out there. Got 1 more set that needs to come through here, and I'm gonna take them through the shortcut way. That way I don't have to do... Ah! I knew I was forgetting something. Thought there was another switch that I was looking for. What I was gonna say is I'm gonna run the DPUs through the receiving, the departure yards. That way I don't have to go all the way out onto the main again. Alright. Like it never happened. Let's see, what do we got here? Something else that would be cool is if they did. I know that they have the toning stuff in the game. It used to be a little bit different for those of you that remember the old dispatcher screen. You had an what do you want to call it? A place for the tower, and when you would tone the tower, it would blink. I don't know how it is now because it's been a while since I've been on a multiplayer server. But what it was you had, I can pull it up. Like, this dispatcher screen was completely different, but you'd have these little tower icons, and they were just like a bulb, and they had a number on them. And anytime somebody would tone the dispatcher, this would have been in multiplayer, the bulb would flash, and you could respond to it. I actually don't know how they're doing the dispatcher stuff in game now. I haven't played on a multiplayer server since they changed the system. But something that would be interesting, and I don't know if they could even do it, is if you could dispatch your AI trains like that. So like, if you've got trains that are sitting at signals that are waiting for signals, that the AI trains can tone you. That might become a little too chaotic for people, but that would be something interesting for me, because like, you know, I'm sitting here trying to do my work, auto's having problems, or if I'm dispatching trains or whatever, like, I mean, you see how many dispatch screens that we have to deal with, and you can't spread them out over multiple monitors, which I guess you probably could, but it's a lot to keep track of. So what I would like is if they could make it where the AI trains would actually tone you and tell you, hey, I got a problem, or, you know, such and such. Alright, we can relinquish this one now. What does that give you HPT wise? That gives you 3.1, so what's the length on this? So, let me see here. This has got to go through Bakersfield. And if I remember right, what's my restriction on that one? $58.75. So this is a borderline one. So it's $55.69 in length, and my restriction for going to Roseville is $58.75 on a manifest. This one's like borderline being trailing tonnage wise. This is borderline too heavy. You could probably get away with it. It's about 300 tons. I'm gonna let it roll because it's mostly empty. This is mostly empty. Check on the tagger and make sure I'm correct on that. Yeah, it's mostly empty. Yeah. He'll live. Alright, so let's go over here and throw that switch. That switch. That one. And let's get him. Throw him out of the kitchen. This is bar pass. I don't think Auto would get confused, but it's Auto, so. Get him out of here, and he should be able to go. Auto might get him. He should be able to sneak him out of here. There's nothing. Well, take it back. You got this one coming in. He can at least get out of the yard. He should be able to. Auto will probably stop him right here. Well, no, he can't stop him right there. He's got to come out here. No, north departure. He's going to come out this yard. Yeah, Auto will stop him here. Yeah, there's the one coming in, so Auto's going to stop him here. Okay. Oh, they're not that heavy. Quit showing off. And it is time to change 3 shade. It's getting dark. Up that one. No, not that one. Not that one. No, that's it. I don't remember it being that hazy. Okay, it's the bloom is, it's probably a little bit too light to switch it, so the bloom is a little heavy. That train's going out. Back here and get the Marx Brothers, and we're gonna take this one. So I got one for San Diego and one for Bellevue. Let me just see. San Diego is a standalone. Bellevue goes out through Albuquerque. And I don't think either one of those trains are long enough. And they're going in completely opposite directions. Because Albuquerque's got to go through Needles, and San Diego's got to go through San Bernardino. Okay. They're both going into the south departure yard. That's what I was trying to figure out. I have one track open. And this Watson... I think I was going to run the Watson one because it's going to LA. AMA. AMA is going to Tulsa. This is a Tulsa train. Galesburg. EAW. Oh, damn. This is another Pasco train. That was one of the things I was going to do. I remember now I was going to combine those two. It's alright. He's gone. It would have been too long for the track anyway. What do we got here? Arcal 0081. Where are you going? Because that might be one of mine that's... It's a train. It's a local, but it's not a local. 0081. Future Foam. Yeah, that's a legit local. The way I can tell is if it's a train tag that only has one, if it's only got one business, then it's a fictitious one. It's just it's part of the This started out as Hans's single-player madness. So if it's only got one industry, chances are it's just a fictitious one that was made up. Alright, so that's a real local. This Fresno train is... How long is this? 48, 49, and 41. Do I want to send this one out? I could put 3 on this one too, because this is mostly empty, isn't it? Yeah, mostly empty. Alright, we'll throw 3 on this one. Why not? I got nothing better to do. Sit here and get these trains out of my yard so that I can actually function, and of course I've landlocked myself. I've had this problem before where I've had to actually throw trains out of the yard so that, because auto won't depart them for whatever reason. So like, I don't know if he is holding them because of these trains that are coming in. Is going to mess up their routing. But I kind of need these trains to be gone. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, he hasn't lined them. I don't know what they're doing. I can get by it. No, I can't either. It's this train right here, isn't it? I need the south departure yard anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that one. Alright, Watson, I've got one track that's empty. And somebody's going to have to make the sacrifice, and it's going to be this one. Because I don't have time to run locals anytime soon. Alright. Decisions have been made, jobs have been cut, the bottom line has been preserved. Let us pull the next one. So I want to take this Bellevue one. Oops. Thought I grabbed it. Set you. This one. That switch. Alright, we're good to go. Back it up. Oh me, oh my. If I wanted to do it the real yardlet way so that I could absolutely destroy the yard, I would actually probably put both of these trains together. That way when I invariably miss a switch, I completely lock down the entire yard while they try and get me routed somewhere where we can actually function. Let's see, we're going south departure, so I can get that one. That guy and this guy needs to be changed. That's something else. I don't know if they're going to change it or not. You can run through switches that are against you if you go trailing point, and then when you back into them, then you split them. You don't break them when you go through them. You break them when you come back, which is kind of true in real life, but it's a bit annoying. We want this train to go down the first track. That's that. And this is something else that I've noticed too. The F7 cheat, for whatever reason, almost always leaves air on the brake cylinder. I don't know if that's by design or if it's an actual bug with the air brake system, but it always annoys me. You know, I haven't seen the oil can train come by. I know it's in there. I was just sitting here thinking about that, and I was like, I haven't seen the oil cans. So that's going to be down at Seiko Siding. It's a save train, I think. Yeah, SB oil cans. Well, that needs to spawn. I was just sitting here thinking about that because I saw a symbol and I was like, why have I not seen the oil can train come by? Like, that used to be fairly regular when I first set it up. And I think that I had an oil can train that I had built that Run 8 does not like because of the way that there's a spot near Caliente, I think it's Caliente, where the game does not like the coupler physics. There's some S-curves that are going into a tunnel, and if you're running in notch 8 through there, it will break the train in half. It'll actually do it in a couple places. If you're running it in the configuration that I had it in, and you just back off to like notch 7 or notch 6, you can get it through there without without breaking it in half. It just, there's a spot where it goes through these S curves, and if you watch it in the Shift B, you kind of see this wave propagate through the train. You can be pulling notch 8 and it'll still do it, and this wave just goes through it and then eventually just goes snap. But if you back off the throttle, like 1 or 2 notches, you can get through there without it breaking. But to be on the safe side, the way that I set it up was I took a couple of, I think I took a few cars off of it just to be safe, so that I don't have to worry about them stalling or breaking anything. So let me see here. Got him routed out, so we'll go up there and check on him. That's like the stereotypical Southern Pacific train. 10,000 units and 10,000 cars. Incidentally, that's kind of the way that Western Maryland ran it on some spots, too. Like, how many engines you want on your train? Yes. Yes. We've got 5 trains to run, and we're going to run them all at the same time. Because that's what we do. 40 more cars to go. I'm not being speed demon today, so it's taking forever. He's coming in, and I still don't have anything going into West Colton. Did I send that train the wrong way? I just happened to see... Or is that something else? No. Okay. There's my... That had me worried for a second. I was like, I know I'm not losing my mind. Because there's a bar kick down here, and I don't know why it's there. And I was like, I know that I'm not that stupid. Alright, there we go. Oh, right here. That's where, nope, I don't want you to. That. Set you, and close you, and... Alright, one more to pull. So let's see. This track here, isn't it? There and there. That's fine. That's fine. Slow down, Hoss. This one. And that's it. Where am I going? I gotta switch up here. Yes, I'm gonna be coupling to what is presumably a liquid natural gas or a liquid petroleum gas, and that's gonna be a thing that's gonna happen. I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm a yardlet with an RCO. I mean, it's a car. I don't know what's in it. I don't even know if it's loaded. I don't even know where I am. That's just what's going to happen. So I got to remember to get a buffer. I actually need to make a buffer track. It's one of those things that I keep forgetting to do. And actually, I can probably do it right now. With that. It's like usually, years ago when I was doing this, these were my caboose tracks, because I would try to have a use for the cabooses that they made for the game, and I would throw cabooses on work trains, like I think some of the locals would get them, and if I did like like an MOW train or something like that, I might throw them on there. I really need to. I think I've got a car pusher. I need to do it, use it a couple times. There's a few industries that I need to put one on. And this train, right there. And that's the last pull for tonight. I probably pull this one too, but I'm not going to worry with it. I got to get the rest of these. I got to get this rest of the stuff out of the receiving yard. We got this one train that's coming in now. This was Mod Bar, I think. What are you bringing me? This is all Galesburg. It's like 90% of this train is Galesburg. This is going to be an easy one. You just turn it around, just throw a couple of engines on there and send it on its way. Alright, let's see. About right here. Bargle. He's got to wait for these two trains to go before he can get out, because he's still sitting up there waiting. I had bad timing for that. I should have waited on him. And he's waiting at Kern Junction for this train to get by. So alright, that is a stop on him. It's actually going to be 3. This is a heavy one. How much does this train weigh? I didn't even look. Yeah, 35. It's only 2,400 feet long. This is a fairly heavy train. With loads. What is that one? That one is LPC. Ah, he's sending them out. Good deal. Alright. Oh, this is another thing that's aggravating. I'm going to disconnect these just so that I don't have to do it when I come back. I don't know why that does that. Did it finally pull apart? There it goes. It acted like it wasn't going to pull. Okay. We're done with you. So, to round out the night, we'll watch one of the greats go by. This will be the Southern Pacific oil cans, because they should be getting the green light here in just a second. So that one's not quite as impressive as the one I ran. I forgot that I took off the rear DPUs. I did that one just so the AI would have an easier train running it, because this train is a monster. I may do a live stream. I was sitting here thinking about it while I was watching it. I might do a live stream of me running it. If you can run this train, you can run anything in Run 8. This is probably going to be one of the most challenging ones that you would run, because it's like, what did I have on this one? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a 7x6, and I think the one that I modeled this one after was either 7x7x6 or 7x6x6. Or it might have been 7x6x5. I have to go back and look it up. But it was built according to the system instructions for powered axle limitations. And I mean, this was on the bleeding edge, and there's an actual video of that specific consist running. The tank cars were probably a little bit lighter, but that specific consist, and it is a you got to be on that train. Like you can't screw up, especially when you're going uphill. Like, you can keep it in notch 8, but like I said, there's a couple spots where it doesn't like it. And then once you get over, once you get through there, it's gravy. Once you get to Mojave, you're pretty much set, because you're gonna go over Palmdale from there. So I think we've gone long enough for one night. This is, what are we at? We're at the 3-hour mark. I was only going to do this for like an hour or two. So yeah, I think that is going to be what I do next. Is I'll do the actual prototypical SP oil trains. I might do that tomorrow. Because I think it takes I think it takes 3 or 4 hours to get there. What milepost is that? It's 306. Mojave. About 80 miles, and that train averages about 25 to 30 miles an hour. So yeah, that's about right. It'd take about 3 or 4 hours. I might do it. I don't know. I'll think about it. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me tonight. And I may do a stream tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of stuff going on while I'm off, so